Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. My name is Secola and I'm a practitioner at this beautiful spiritual center. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. Thank you so much for everyone being here this morning. I have a few announcements before we get started. Just want to thank everyone for attending yesterday's amazing Daniel Name It concert right here. We turned this place into this cozy music space and it was so wonderful. So thank you all for supporting that event. The date for our Listening Summer Raffle has been changed once again, and I promise this is the last time. It's going to be held on Sunday, September 18th after service, and it will be a potluck. And if you never attended a potluck here, you're in for a treat. We have so much food. So the tickets are on sale, but not all the displays are in place. So if you'd like to get your tickets early, please come see me after service. And Wednesday evening guided meditation is ongoing through August. So that is at 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It's open to the public. Anybody can come and join in, so please join us. Come Sing With Me workshop with Beverly is on September 11th after service, and lunch is included in the price for admission, and it is going to be a lot of fun. This is the first time we're doing this with Beverly, and I heard she's done it at the Silomar, and very healing and fun workshop. So please join us. Our Unexpected Income Club is doing awesome. It is very close to $17,000, and that is going to our building fund. So please join us on that, and if you'd like more information on it, please come see me after service as well. That's it from me. I will pass it on to Amanda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's begin with opening the invocation for the presence and the power. We will start with this prayer. So I invoke the power and the presence and the consciousness of one mind, one spirit, one life, one love to bless this service. Our congregation, those here in person, and those that are still viewing us on the internet. Our visitors, our volunteers, and staff, I extend a very warm blessing to the ushers and greeters. Our resident musical director, Tommy Cosentino, the board of trustees who guard and guide our mission, the practitioners who hold high watch, our junior church teachers and students, and our ministerial leader, Reverend Dr. Bill Salisbury. Knowing that the message prepared is divinely guided, I declare our time together good and very good. Amen.
To be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still. God love me.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Blake Secola, and I am a practitioner here at this beautiful, welcoming Center for Spiritual Living, Center for Spiritual Fullerton, where we are very grateful for all of the miracles that continue to happen within our midst. My reading this morning has been captured through researching the topic of the color green, because that is what Reverend Dr. Bill is going to be speaking about this morning. Discovering what symbolism Spirit is sending us can be a fun journey and help us gain a lot of clarity on situations that seem confusing. Green can be interpreted in many ways depending on the symbol and situation. To understand the nature of the color green, one has to look no further than the environment surrounding ourselves. As stated by Ernest Holmes, all the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and act as though it were true. Knowing that to be true, we see plants and trees, money and vegetables, and other green items that we may feel attracted to. This may impart creativity, productivity, relaxation, and joy, calm or energizing through a feeling of abundance. Color is a dynamic way we interact with the world around us and tend to impact our general well-being. Green is a magnetic color that attracts outside manifesting energy to help bring a new goal or project to fruition. It is a color that reflects health and healing. So people who need healing are attracted to people that have a green aura. Generally, this is seen as a positive, very vibrant, and harmonizing color. There can be a sense of hope, optimism, and refreshed perspective, tenacity, and creativity. The color green is a spiritual color that possesses divine powers. It carries deep spiritual messages from the universe to our consciousness. We may be sent the green color as a token of encouragement. Whenever it appears, know the universe is inspiring us to have faith in ourselves and the powers that can generate results for our lives. It is also a symbol for abundance and fertility. Even if one's past has been filled with grief, envy, or jealousy, a new opportunity awaits in order to start fresh, right our wrongs, take lessons learned forward into prosperity. It can come as a result of hard work and dedication. Let's take this out of speculation and apply it, because I am reminded of a story featuring the artist Pablo Picasso. He was approached in the marketplace one ordinary day, where a woman handed him a small blank paper and asked if he might draw her something. It took about 30 seconds for him to deliver a small masterpiece on the slip of paper. As he returned this to the woman, Picasso said, "That will be $1 million. Slightly shocked, the woman replied, "Well, that only took you 30 seconds to draw, so why so much money?" Picasso responded, "My good woman, it actually took me 30 years to master the artistry involved in order to produce a masterpiece in 30 seconds. This story is relative and it reflects how a body of work is inspired and could show up as a green by supporting you and your family or providing accolades along the way. It has been studied that the ages of Nobel Prize winners, great inventors, and scientists are usually a full 10 years to any individual career prior to any recognition. So take heart if you have been courageously working during your lifetime, and note that most success takes years to develop. The term overnight success normally has many years of background to support the effort. So what does the color green mean spiritually? It carries the vibration of growth, new beginnings, health, renewal, harmony, hope, and peace. When a spiritual sign appears in your life that is green, it usually represents that you are in a period of growth, starting a new chapter, or that this is a season to explore a new layer of yourself and plant seeds that will foster success for your future. You can find your own green pastures by doing that work. finishing that project, getting feedback from others, and improve upon what you are doing. Show up again tomorrow and do it again. It is the process of wash, rinse, repeat, and your rewards will come. It could be 10, 20, 30 years in the making, but it is a journey, and it is important to enjoy it. So look for the green in every situation. And now let's pray. It is our privilege to know that God is all there is, to acknowledge the power and the presence of the universe, to validate the omniscience we have in the palm of our hand. Our ability to tap into unlimited wisdom, infinite intelligence, and the joy, love, and harmony that is ours, gained through the connection to God within, residing in you, through you, as you. We each represent an individual outpicturing of God. And because I know this for myself, I can also know this for each of you here in the room and on the internet. Our presence today is by divine appointment. So embrace the truth of who you are at every moment of every day, no matter the circumstance. Our mission is clear: to follow the path of love, joy, harmony, creativity, and abundance, accentuating what is ours to do, individually and collectively. We are grateful to have the privilege of community and touching one another through a loving embrace, physically and metaphorically. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this enlightenment. It is now with a contented heart that I know the seed of creativity and abundance is in place and already manifesting as promised. I release my word into divine action of the law, and let it be. And so it is.
As time goes on, I realize just what you mean to me. Now that you're near, promise your love I wanted to share and dream of all moments together. Color my world with hope, love. And dreams of our moments together. Color my world with hope of love and
Good morning. Good morning. I am Reverend Bill, and I am absolutely pleased to be here. I'm green to be here. Yes. So continuing with our overarching theme of live life in color, today we're talking about green. And I know I'm going to be corrected for this, but I am going to take this opportunity to personally declare that green is a primary color. So, if our resident artist Karen is listening, I know it's not, but it should be. Look at all the things that we refer to with the color green. On top of that, well, in addition to, or in maybe repeating some of that long list of green we heard about already, it is the sign of rebirth. It's the sign of resurrection. It's the sign of growth. And the grass is always greener, isn't it? The grass is always greener right where we are. Sometimes we say the grass is always greener somewhere else, but silly us. Silly us. We have been gifted with this giant blue ball that we live on. And remember, and they say that's true, that astronauts, when they're out in space, they look at the Earth and they see this giant blue planet. The reason it's blue, remember, is because blue is actually significant of that love that the Creator for this planet and for each of us has used to do that very building and has instilled in us. So Mother Earth, while being the blue planet, is all that blue in support of what? In support of all the green. We have been gifted this incredible, life-producing, life-sustaining, life-giving planet to live on, and it's all because of the green rebirth that takes place all the time. So I wonder why that's important to us. Because it's not just birth and rebirth, it's about growth, right? We could have no growth without the green. From our little book, Spiritual Awareness, from Ernest Holmes, this really has nothing to do with green, but it does have to do with science of mind. And I'm going to say that in my mind, remember we talked about the guy who was born on a blue day, and how lots of people, and somebody was telling me about their nephew or someone who was taking drum lessons and saw the notes in color, saw the notes in blue, but there are people that are blessed like that. They can not just hear the words and get that concept, but it comes to them not just in terms of boring words that we can make mean whatever we want them to mean, by the way, and we do, don't we? So on top of birth and resurrection and springtime and growth and happiness and harmony and life-sustaining air that we breathe, we also have sayings like, give me the green. So if I say to you, give me the green, everybody knows that means I'm talking about money. I'm not talking about one of those natural things that we have been gifted with, that our Creator has provided for us, gratis, free, by way of grace. So if I say so-and-so is green around the gills, we know what that means. Well, especially the nurses among us, we know what that means. Or green with envy. So we can make words mean whatever we want them to mean, and we can sometimes totally, completely change the given meaning of a word and the one that's used in community that everybody understands, and we can put it into a colloquialism that turns it up absolutely on its head. But that's not what science of mind does, because we are very clear-cut in our philosophy. Are we not? So all the colors that we're going to experience through our spirituality, not often are we going to have gray in the mix. There's not much gray area for us. We know there is one presence that has provided everything that there is. And we know that there is one power that maintains all the individual expressions of that one power. You know, every religion in history, regardless of how many gods and goddesses they all have how many powers behind it? Just one. So, I say, let's cut out the middleman, the middlemen, the middlewomen. Let's cut out all those middle things and just understand that our connection is directly to the divine. Someone asked during the week what we thought a mystic was. Well, in my mind, a mystic is very clear. A mystic is a person who has a personal experience with God, with spirit, with that life principle, with the divine, call it whatever we will. A personal experience. We don't have to take somebody else's word for it about the goodness and the abundance of God. We get to live that. All we have to do is get everything out of our way that is not directly related to our personal relationship with that one power, that one presence. And live life accordingly. Live life the way it was gifted to us to live. Remember, there's no such thing as a God who put us here and then said, either you're on your own, didn't really provide for you, but you'll get by. Don't you love that expression? You'll get by, you'll manage. I know everything is going against you right now, don't worry about it. And it's true, we don't worry about it because we know that we will be provided for. All we have to do is understand where those provisions come from. And understand that sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that they come from somewhere else, that they come from our culture, they come from a mixture of our business working, if you will. They don't. They come directly from Spirit to us. And there's no middle person in there. Anyway, wow. And he's talking about peace here, Ernest is. He says, Phillips Brooks said that peace is the entire harmony between the nature of anything and its circumference. Okay, so I know we're wondering, who's Phillips Brooks to be saying anything about this? Well, Phillips Brooks was an Episcopal priest, and we know about him because he's the guy that wrote the lyrics to O Little Town of Bethlehem. So no slouch, this guy, really. But think about it. He's telling us that it's the entire harmony between the nature of anything and its circumference. If we are not in harmony, what's our circumference? We are made in the image and likeness of God. We are the center of the divine being. Each one of us, wherever we are the center of that divinity. We are a center in the consciousness of the divine mind. And God has no circumference. How could we then have a circumference? Sure, I know that we call ourselves individualized expressions of the divine, or extensions of God, if you will, and we are. And because of that, we seem to think that we don't have a circumference. We seem to think that we're limited to these bodies. Have you ever had an opportunity, a situation happen where you approached somebody for whatever reason and you felt either immediately kind of pushed away or immediately hugged in close? What's doing that? We call that our aura, right? We say that we have the physical body, and then we have the mental body, and we have the emotional body, and blah, blah, blah. We got bodies going all the way out to the end of whatever there is. So we don't have a circumference. The only circumference we have is the one that we assign to ourselves. And those people that generally become really renowned for being mystics, they're just the people who've said to themselves, who've come to the realization that I'm not limited to right here. This body does not limit me. Oh, sure, in terms of some physical things, negotiating this planet, it might. But the fact of the matter, the me that is unlimited is just using this body. It's like going down to the car dealership and getting a car to drive around in. We just came onto this planet and got a human body to drive around in. Our real essence, the I am that each of us is not limited to this body. So our circumference then is, we have none, it's nowhere. But just for the sake of human argument, because we like to do that, we like to take our words as gospel. Once we make up a word, we want to insist to the very end that that's what it is. If we were to have a circumference, we cannot be at peace, we cannot be in harmony, we cannot be all that we can possibly be if everything that supposed circumference bounces up against is not harmonious. What do we bounce up against the most in our physical day-to-day living? Well, we bounce up against Mother Earth. And I dare say that Mother's not too happy right now. You know, if we were ever going to get set to our room, this would be a really good time for that to happen. Let me go on a little bit more. When we become conscious of our existence as an idea in the mind of God, we shall find out that we are walking in pathways of peace. That something within us acts like a magnet to attract that which belongs to itself. We belong to this earth. Why do you think we have gravity? We have gravity because it's attracting us to that earth that is very similar makeup to what we are. I forget what the numbers are, but it's something like if you distilled this body down into just the minerals that make it up, they'd be relatively in the same ratio as what makes up the planet. And I believe that's true. But it's attracting us to it because we are like individuals. But being made in the image and likeness of God, what else do we have that we can attract with? The things we attract with are peace, harmony, light, love, unity, community, compassion. All these God attributes, that's what we are. We can be made of nothing else. And then up rears the head of volition. And volition says what? Well, wait a minute, Bill. You got a choice. You don't have to love everybody. You don't have to accept everybody. You can choose against. Then I want to ask myself, self, why would I do that? Why would I want to attract to me something that is unlike me? Why would I want to attract to me something that is unlike the very nature, the divine nature that I am? And at the end of the day, the answer turns out to be, surprisingly, well, I wouldn't. And yet, we live on this planet, this blue planet, representing life, blue life, love of God, representing heaven, and covered that isn't blue, mostly in green, showing that ongoing self-sustaining, and this planet is self-sustaining. Are we aware of that? This planet is self-sustaining. But as we look around, can we today get a little bit nervous about the ability of this planet to self-sustain in light of what's going on with it right now? And I'm not here to get on the green wagon. Well, I guess I am. Beverly dressed me for this occasion. But the fact of the matter is, we have to treat not just everyone, everything that is made in the image and likeness of God, of the divine, of that life principle, of spirit, with the same heartfelt acceptance that we have to treat each other. And when we don't do that, Mother's going to get upset. And she's going to do things for our benefit, for our good, to put us back on a correct course, on a path of self-sustaining. We've been given, I was going to say given everything in the world, but I guess that's true. We've been given everything in the world. But we've also been given it as stewards of it. We have consciousness. Now we got gazillions of different animal species running around and plant species, right? There's intelligence all over this green planet. But they don't have the consciousness that we have, probably the self-consciousness is what I should be saying. So it's not their responsibility to take care of the planet. But if it was, they'd be doing a magnificent job of it. I don't think it's very often a case where, for example, a deer pushes itself away from the apple tree table and says, "Oh my God, I'm stuffed, I ate so much." Probably doesn't happen. In the animal world, they eat what's necessary, and they're preserving the planet at the same time. And I'm going to say that maybe we don't always do that. Maybe we have a tendency to go to excess every once in a while. Oh, and he finishes up with this something, talking about that which we're attracting like a magnet to ourselves. This something is love, the supreme impulsion of the universe. And that is exactly what makes the universe go around and around. So how do we get green? I know it's not really a primary color, but we're mixing yellow and blue. So we're mixing the love, the life, that total, complete allness of what we have in blue, and we're mixing it with yellow, that sign of power and light and heat and warmth and life-giving radiation, are we not? So when we mix those things together, how could we possibly go wrong with green? We can't. So, did I mention that the title of today's talk is what? The New Green Deal. Yeah. This would be a good time for me to mention that the New Green Deal, it's exactly the same as the old Green Deal. There's nothing really new here for us, but you know, I'm a product of our culture. I've been watching ads and reading ads and seeing ads and hearing ads forever. I know that if I don't put something in there to catch your attention, oh, new, something new here. I think it was Solomon who said, there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. And there's no new Green Deal. The same Green Deal that's been going on forever is the Green Deal that we have right now, that we have to contend with, that we have to adjust ourselves to in order to benefit the most from it. And isn't that what we want after all? Don't we want to benefit from all this abundance and prosperity and goodness that has been gifted us by virtue only of the fact that we have come to this plane of existence as expressions of God, as angels of light. Even if we try to cover that light up, it's still there. We can get to it. So, from the Tao Te Ching, a recent book, I'm sure. So everything in here will be news to us. I don't know even how long ago this started in the oral tradition, probably, thousands and thousands of years ago. But verse 29 says, we are the world. We are the world. It's not the world in us. Just like it's not God and us. There's no God and anything. There is only God. there's only us or there's only the world. Have your choice. We separate it because we can do that with our words. But there's only one. There's only one life. As Ernest said, there's only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And there is only one. So everything that I see, everything I can feel, everything I can touch or smell or taste is part of that one life. It's not separate from it. Those who have most power and wealth treat the planet as a thing to be possessed. That has a familiar ring. To be used and abused according to their own dictates. But the planet is a living organism, a great spiritual integrity. We're part of a great spiritual integrity. Don't ever let anybody tell you you don't have integrity. We not only have it, we are it. Might not know how to spell it, but I am it. What the Tao Te Ching tells us, and especially in this verse, basically is that we live under, well, basically 3 illusions. And it's not because it's in here. We do live under 3 illusions. And the first illusion is always going to be that we seem to think that there's a separateness. We seem to think that we are separate from everything else, everybody else, and from life itself. We're not separate from that. We're part and parcel of it. To violate this integrity is certain to call forth disaster, since each and every one of us is an inherent part of this very organism. If you got hungry and McDonald's wasn't open, would you chop off your toe to satisfy your hunger? Well, I don't think so. But don't we kind of do something like that with our planet? With the very thing that sustains us? With the very thing that gives us the ability to live these lives as expressions of the divine? All attempts to control the world can only lead to its decimation and to our own demise, since we are an inseparable part of what we are senselessly trying to coerce. And that brings us kind of to illusion number 2. So illusion number 1 is we think that there's separateness, which there isn't. And illusion number 2 is we have somehow gotten into our heads that this planet is here for us to use only for our own personal use. Is there anything in our lives that is only for our own personal use? No. When we're immature in our spirituality, well, sure there is. And look where that's got us. But the more advanced we get, the closer we get to having that personal relationship with God, the more we understand that it's not just for our personal use, it's for our personal use collectively, and we need to treat it that way. Any attempt to possess the world can only lead to its loss and to our own dissolution, since we are an intrinsic part of what we are foolishly trying to possess. Which kind of takes us to illusion number 3. Illusion number 3 is this, that we are in competition. So just take a second to think about this and see if you can find some way to convince yourself that these illusions are not what we're living under. That we are separate, that this planet is just for our own personal use, and that it's a competition. Life is not a competition. It's not even a competition within me. It's not even me against myself. You know how some people love to say that. Oh yeah, well, the only thing you're competing against is yourself. So you go, boy, compete. No. You know, native traditions, First Nations people, have understand since the very first person that showed up on this planet that this is not so. It's only in recent years that we've fashioned this culture that says, well, these things might be the case. But they're not the case. The case is we have to share what we have because it was given to all of us. God did not say, putting you down there with 8 billion other people, but most of this is for you if you can just figure out a way to get it from the rest of them. She didn't say that. Mother would never, who's ever had a mother? Mother would never say that. What did mother say? Share with your brother. Share with your sister. Look after your little brother or your little sister. We know what mother would say, and yet we live as if we don't sometimes. The world's pulse is our pulse. Ooh, the heartbeat of the world is my heartbeat. It's your heartbeat. We only have one heartbeat. And what a glorious symphony it produces. Some of our heartbeats sound like boom, 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 and others sound like piccolos and violins, cellos, rock drums, lead guitars. You know, I want to talk about the different colors that we represent our body with for a minute. Do you know what the color of the heart chakra is?
Green.
It's green. I used to think, well, it should be red. Yeah, no, red could be pretty intense. It can be pretty hostile even sometimes. But green is always comforting and accepting and taking in, non-judgmental. It's that color of community. The world's rhythms are our rhythms. To treat our planet with care, moderation, and love is to be in synchrony with ourselves and to live the great integrity. And we use green. Remember, we can do whatever we want to. They're our words. And we use green as both a noun or an adjective. I say both with all. A noun, an adjective, or a verb now. We use green as a verb. The greening of America. Familiar with that term? Or, that's a beautiful green. Or, that's a beautiful green plant. So we can use it any way we want to use it. My thought is this. Why don't we use it to represent that heart? That heart that we share. That global heart, that community heart. That heart of God that beats us. It's the breath of God that breathes us. It's the beat of the heart of God that sustains us. So why don't we, when we're going to use green, think about all the the multitude of good that comes to us from that green. And realizing that we only got green by mixing that love, that truth, that divinity of God with that power and presence and life-sustaining, life-giving heat and warmth of the sun. And that's what we are. So here's what I know. I know that I and everyone else and everything else was put on this planet to express those God attributes: peace, love, community, harmony, togetherness, forgiveness, acceptance, and to, with open arms, to welcome all into this world, into this fertile green world of rebirth and regrowth and resurrection, of life and life everlasting. Because in the same manner that we do not have a circumference, we do not have a beginning or an end either. I am, God said to Moses, I am. And I am, and all
of us I ams are that exactly. We are made in the image and likeness of the divine. We are put here to love and to share and to enjoy community and to take care of each other. As Ram Dass said, after all, we're all just walking each other home. And if we want to take just a little bit closer walk with God, we do it with those around us. We don't do it alone. Because we're not alone. We're not separate. We're not individual. We're individualized. We are sharing that oneness that is God with everything and everybody, every moment of every day, currently on this planet, but forever in eternity, infinitely. And knowing this is the case, and knowing that this life is mine, and this life is yours, and this life is a shared life, and it's the one life, I just say, thank you, God, for this. I just release this word into that law that understands me and understands the yes that I am and that I live. I just let it go with a heart full of gratitude. I say, thank you, God, thank you. So it is. Let me just take a moment and say thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of our spiritual community heart, because it's without these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, these donations, we wouldn't be able to be here doing what we do. And thank you also those of you who are not back in the sanctuary yet but are still online for hitting that donate button or just auto tithing or coming by and seeing Tomoko and our practitioners during the week and getting that quick, brief, solid affirmative prayer. And let's just know that we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they are given from the central core of who we are, which is God made manifest on this plane. We accept them wholeheartedly. We send them forth to do their good work in this spiritual community, in the community at large, and indeed in the world at large, with no strings, no attachments. So it is. Amen.
Clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now the pain is gone. And all of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around and nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright day. It's gonna be a bright,
Cosentino. And let's just know this together. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called my green heart.
It's this thing called my green heart.
I know it.
I know it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I love it.
I love it.
Thank you, God, in me.
Thank you, God, in me.
Amen.